Hello, good evening. What may I get you tonight? I've been told I'm the best bartender from Timbuktu to Portland. So please, step up to the bar and I'll serve you what is likely to be the best beverage you've ever had. And you're next.
Hey, welcome back to Sideninehomestead. I'm Sean.
I'm Jody.
Decided to switch that up a little bit today.
Wow, that was weird. That's why I didn't know what to do.
I know, right?
Okay.
So this video should be a fun, quick video. And what we wanted to do was just share our experience for new people that want to start the carnivore lifestyle. We wanted to kind of give what our lessons learned were, because there were so many that we wish we knew when we started, because most carnivore videos with people talking are just about, I've lost this much weight, I don't have these illnesses anymore, and we're guilty because we did several of them, because people want to know, hey, how does this change your life? So we've done those too, and you could see one here. But what we wanted to do was have a quick talk about some of the stuff that you should consider before you actually start, right? And give some tips and hints on what to do before you start. So I think I'll start with one. The very first one that you have to have ready before you start, because when we started, we quit cold turkey everything. Soda, even though we never really drank soda.
No.
But we did have soda and alcohol as mixers, right? So we gave up soda, we gave up alcohol, we gave up coffee, we gave up every form of beverage except water.
Yes.
It was
hard.
We were all in though. It was. I mean, it was hard the first couple days, but then we were like, let's just move forward because everything was working so well.
Yeah.
So when you give up all the beverages and you're only drinking water, you'll deplete your electrolytes. So I would say the very first thing that you have to have on is that have to have ready or some kind of electrolytes. You have to have electrolytes. And this isn't a commercial for Element, even though
we're not sponsored, but we'd love to be. No, we do love the Elements though.
They have different flavors.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, in the beginning, I woke up with horrific leg pains.
Like Charlie horse.
Yeah, because I wasn't getting enough salts and stuff.
Because when we started, I think we started on a Sunday, and I don't think our electrolytes came until like Wednesday or Thursday. So we had to go those few days without anything.
Because we didn't know. We learned after we watched a couple more videos.
We'll just chuck a little bit of salt in and salt our food, we'll be fine. And you're not, especially in that beginning part, because like with anything, you're losing that water weight in the beginning and the inflammation. So there's a big, if you look at my weight loss chart, it's a huge jump in or huge dive in the beginning, and then it's like slowly trickled down. But in that beginning part, you're losing so fast, you have to do something.
And that was always crazy, because we'd always watch commercials on TV like Jenny Craig and all that stuff. Lose 18 pounds in 10 days. So how can you do that? You actually can. But you could do it healthy through carnivore diet versus eating that pre-made crap that they make that you have to pay for.
Yes.
And they send you a box of crap food. So you have to have your electrolyte beverages ready from day one, because I suffered for a while. And even now, because if you're outside sweating and you're drinking, you always, so this is my water bottle. It's 32 ounces, and one of those LMNT flavor packets is for 32 ounces. So I pour that in there, and I have cold water gallons, because we were using water bottles, and that's a waste of environment.
Yeah.
There's so many of those bottles, because you could put 2 in here versus the big gallon jug. So we started buying the gallons, pouring them in there. We have well water, so...
And it's really hard water.
Yeah, and you have to be careful what water you drink too, because if you buy drinking water, shockingly, they're doing reverse osmosis now for some drinking water, which is the purest form of water, or even water. Because if it's drinking water, it'll tell you what tap it came out of, what municipality water. So you're just drinking regular city water, tap water, right? So not all water is made the same. Read the ingredients and where it was sourced for even your water. But anyway, so number one, recommendation is to have some kind of electrolyte. You don't have to do element because it's kind of expensive. It's
is.
flavorful, so I can't drink flavors all the time. So I'll have an element like raspberry because it is sweetened with stevia.
Yeah. So
It's
some
a plant.
People, yeah, it's not 100% true, carnivore, but for us, we haven't had any ill effects from the stevia.
So so there's other types of.
An element makes an unflavored one too that doesn't have stevia. So if you want that, you just want the electrolytes, you can.
And there's
get that
other
as well.
electrolytes you could buy too. There's that other brand, that
Yeah,
keto one.
Keto Chow.
That's a good one.
That we
So
bought.
so I'll do a flavored one and then I'll do non-flavored just because the flavor is kind of strong. But anyway, that's the number one recommendation, right?
Okay. I would agree. I think that's important.
Good. You do number 2.
So my number 2 would be to make sure that you kind of prep your house. And I know that's hard, especially if you have a spouse that's not on board with you, or you have children that are
so
not.
hard.
That would be hard.
Especially if the spouse is, or whatever, if you're on the same eating regimen, like you both like to have these chips or that piece of bread, and then the one spouse says, yeah, I'm going to go carnivore, but you still have that temptation.
Right. So we were fortunate. So we just got rid of everything. We donated some things that were open and, half gone or 3/4 gone, those pitched, and we cleaned house.
We did.
It was crazy. I wish I had taken pictures because our fridge,
there was nothing in the fridge.
There was nothing in the fridge. Like condiments, everything we got rid of.
And we had every delicious condiment, ketchup, mustard, all kinds of hot ketchups and spices and relishes and pickles.
Yeah.
Oh, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
but once you start reading your labels and you start realizing sugar
is in everything.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Soy lactate, soy this, soy that. I'm not going to do that again in this video, but soy,
don't.
Unless soy is organic, it's genetically modified, and it's just really bad for you. Watch our GMO video.
Yeah.
But anyway, so clean house.
Clean your house. Get yourself prepared. And if you have to share, with a spouse or some other family member that's not following carnivore with you, kind of come up with a plan. Like, where are you going to keep your things and, what you like. And you may have to kind of set some ground rules. Like, this is my stuff because I need this to pack for my lunch for work. This is mine. I need to have this, and we'll still make dinner the way I normally do or whatever, but this portion is for me because I need that. So that can be a little tricky. We're fortunate we didn't have to go through any of those discussions and power struggles with those, but I feel for those of you that do.
And we've heard about a lot of people in comments.
A lot of people have commented about things like that, about with a spouse that's not on board. But a lot of you kind of just seem to make it work. I remember reading several comments where, I just make a normal dinner as I would, and I just eat the meats, and the family has the side dishes with it. So there's ways you can make it work. I think you just have to make sure that you have that strong willpower, and you just have kind of drawn your line in the sand that, I'm not going back to that. I'm going to give this the 30 days, the 60 days, or 90 days, whatever it is that you chose.
Clean it out so there's no temptations.
Yeah, make sure that you kind of set yourself up for success, because, it can be hard those first few days depending on what your normal diet was prior to starting carnivore. So if you're used to sitting on the couch and eating chips at night, you're gonna
or popcorn. Even that popcorn.
I used to always buy Skinny Pop.
Yeah, Skinny Pop.
That was my favorite.
It makes you skinny.
It does not. We ate a lot of Skinny Pop. It didn't work.
No, that was a diet that we tried too, and that just didn't work.
Yeah.
But anyway, so number 3, I think. So we kind of got all excited because we've been looking for trying some new diet, and when we found this, we did it actually really quickly. Like one day, hey Jody.
It was.
Hey, I just watched this video on carnivore diet, and everybody's saying that they're healed from all this stuff. It's like real crazy, and they're all losing all this weight. Hey, you want to try it? Yeah, okay, sure. How about when we come back from this trip that we were planning? Because I think we talked about that on a Thursday, and we were like, all right, so when we come back from this trip, on Sunday, we'll plan it out and do it. So the entire trip, we were just talking about it nonstop.
Yeah.
We were all excited to start. So Sunday we came home, we threw everything out.
Yeah.
We didn't really plan, right? And we didn't have much water in the house.
We tend to be a little impulsive at times.
Yeah, so plan it out. If you are, if you have city water, that should be another video, because there's a website that you can go to and type in your municipality of your local township or whatever, and you could get what all the forever chemicals are in your water. So, spring water is the best. Have food on hand too.
Yeah.
Because we cleaned out our refrigerator. I think we cleaned it out before we left on vacation. Or not on vacation, but for that weekend getaway.
We may have.
I think we cleaned it out because Julia came home and there was like nothing.
She opened the fridge. Our daughter, she's 20 now, was 19 at the time. She opened the fridge and she was like, "Oh gosh, what are they doing now?" Like,
we
can you
did.
imagine?
We
didn't tell her at all.
No. No, but we did save some of the condiments that so
she's not following this way of
well, we've
eating,
been
but,
trying to convince her, but that's another story. But anyway, we did leave some of the condiments. So, but when we came back, we had to do a Costco run.
Yeah. So we have freezers, but we wanted to really focus heavily on steaks and red meats.
With fatty red meats.
So we have ground beef. I mean, everybody keeps ground beef on hand, and we have, the more barbecue type stuff. We have a lot of ribs and, things like that, but we didn't have a lot of steak. And the steaks that we did have were not overly fatty, like ribeyes, which is what we prefer.
Yeah, and the reason for that, this might even go into number 4, right? Because when you quit any type of carbs, right? When you quit all carbs, you're just exhausted. If you don't have carbs...
Did you just snore?
I did. That was prior to the carnivore lifestyle, right? But if you don't have carbs, you have no energy, right? Like, what do you do for energy, right? So your energy comes from the fat and meat. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, I'm going to do carnivore and just eat chicken and salmon, you're not going to survive that. You're going to be tired all the time. Mm-hmm. So you need to have a really good balance of good fats. Eggs themselves are the most wonderful protein that you could eat. Yeah. It's got so many vitamins and nutrients that span, the entire vitamins. Mm-hmm. So that just eating eggs alone will give you, well, not alone, but I mean, so if you were taking multivitamins, an egg, more or less, is a multivitamin.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it's amazing what's in eggs. So back to my point, though, was you have to have red meat, fatty red meat, because the fat in the meat is what gives you your energy. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know that, right? Because we had chicken. We were eating chicken the first couple days. We were eating salmon. We'd have a steak too, but we had a lot of lean steaks.
Yeah.
But then we learned that in order to have energy and to be able to function in life, especially at work, you have to have a fatty red meat. And for us, now that we're 86 days into this, I'm starting to think I want to go lion lifestyle versus carnivore. So lion is just red meat, fatty red meat, because it makes such a big difference.
Beef, salt, and water would be, and that's totally it. So it's funny when we do have steak, like you get this like, I don't know how to describe that feeling. It's like there's like this calm energy about you after you eat it. Do you get that too?
Yes.
It's like this really weird feeling that you get when you have a really good steak like that. Like you're so satisfied.
And you're
full. Not
full.
Hungry. Yeah, it's just, and you have this like euphoric state. I don't know. It's really bizarre. But
so if you don't like red meat, the carnivore diet, I don't know if that could, I mean, you could do keto, but I don't know if you could do strictly carnivore.
It would be hard.
It would be really hard.
You would have to really...
Because you can't get good fats from fish.
No.
I mean, eggs,
like bone-in chicken thighs, maybe with the skin, with a lot of butter and...
Yes.
Oh, speaking his love language.
Oh, okay. So, not just red fatty meat. You put a lot of butter on everything. Mm-hmm. Like when we have fish, We put a lot of butter. We use butter as much as we can. Even our steak sometimes, we'll dip that in butter. Salt too, right? You got to use a lot of salt. Salt. So when we tell people that we're on a carnivore lifestyle and we eat a lot of salt and we eat a lot of butter, your body needs that salt, right? Your body needs that fat and the butter. So many people we know are on low-fat diets, right? And they get low-fat chicken noodle soup and low-fat mushroom soup or whatever and all this low-fat stuff. When they have low-fat stuff, they just strip all the nutrients out of cans and
they
stuff.
usually put back in sugar in some form,
and
especially
soy.
in like canned things. Stop. But they put a lot of that stuff in because then if you're not having the fat in there, it doesn't probably taste good. So then they add other stuff in to make it taste better, and that's how they get you.
Yeah, and it goes back to the whole food pyramid. That food pyramid is upside down.
Yeah.
They want you to have 6 to 8 servings of waffles and Pop-Tarts and cereal and bread.
Pop-Tarts?
And bread. They want you to eat all these carbs, and and then you just get this little piece of meat.
Right.
Like,
and that's why we all looked like Oompa Loompas, because we were eating, 11 pieces of bread in a day.
and a whole pizza. Just fold that baby in half. But still,
That sounds delicious.
I know. The whole food pyramid is such a crock. And there's videos on why they even did the food pyramid in the first place, right? And I think Big Pharma was behind it personally. But I'm not going to go there.
Please don't.
So the number 4 thing was what I was saying was, have menu prepared, have some stuff on hand. Don't do what we did and throw all your stuff out and then have to go shopping.
Then you're in a panic.
Right? You're like,
what do we do? And then sometimes when you do that too, then you like panic buy, right? Like where we should have just spent some time going through our freezer and really knowing exactly what we had on hand. We were like, oh my gosh, we don't have any steak. So we went, and then, $800 later, you're walking out of Costco.
Oh, that was
like,
a big Costco run.
Holy crap, what the heck just happened? Because you just get into this mode like, I want to make sure we have enough. Like that was our thing.
Yes.
Like, in the beginning, you don't know how much you're going to need to eat because you're thinking, well, I'm just going to have a steak that's this
that's
big.
a good point. So that's number 5, maybe.
Yeah, that could be good. And now we kind of know how much each of us eat to be satisfied. But in the beginning,
we each
didn't
made
know.
because in the beginning, because when you eat a big salad, right, there's a Seinfeld.
Oh,
the big salad.
It's a salad in a big bowl.
It's a big salad. So before we started carnivore, you could eat a lot. And when you ate a lot, you went to the bathroom a lot. But you were eating like lettuce, salads, potatoes and all that stuff. And that stuff goes through you pretty quick. So, on a carnivore lifestyle, you don't go to the bathroom that much. Number 2 anyways, right? It's like maybe every other day. Because your body is so streamlined, so efficient, and it burns your calories so well, and you lose so much weight, and it takes that protein and it builds muscle, and you don't even do anything, and you get all these muscles and you lose all this fat. So you don't go to the bathroom that much because that's what your body was meant to eat.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry for that rant again. But
you totally segued again.
I know. So let's get back to where we were. So you eat so much.
You don't know how much you're going to eat in the beginning.
No, you don't.
You're probably going to over prepare like for a meal because you're in the beginning. We used to make some like 2 ribeyes that were 2 inches thick and this big, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna eat this
right?
huge steak, and then we sit down and we each ate, a third of the steak, and we're like, I guess we don't need to eat this.
But
this much.
We used to do big Sunday cooks too, where we would cook a bunch of steaks, like 4 steaks for the week. We'd cook all the kibasi, which is plural for kibasa. We had this debate on one of our other videos. Yes. So kibasi is plural for kibasa.
Yeah.
Okay, so we learned that. So we would make a lot of kibasi. We would make a big pile of bacon and like all this food.
Burgers.
And then by the end of the week, we still had like half of it left, and it's getting old.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there trying to eat it, but you only eat till you're full. And on the carnivore lifestyle, you get full really fast. So
Yeah.
you don't eat that much.
Yeah, we've had to totally scale back, and so
Way back,
we haven't
shockingly.
been doing those huge preps anymore because we've found that if we cook, a few times during the week, there's usually enough leftovers. My biggest concern is always, what am I taking to lunch?
Because she works in the office.
Where he's home. If he needs to whip up some eggs or whatever, he can, and I'm kind of at the mercy of whatever I can pack. So, but we've learned kind of what nights we need to cook some things, because I know, okay, well, I'll make these 2 steaks, so that'll carry us for a couple days.
Keep going. I gotta check to make sure we're recording and everything's working, because this is good material.
They're on the edge of their seats.
I know.
Wait
I'm
to
on the
hear
edge
what
of my
else.
seat. But yeah, like you eat so much less food.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And you're full. You're not
Totally
hungry.
satisfied.
So this morning we had 2 eggs each.
Yeah.
And we had a little piece of leftover, a really small piece of leftover steak
Yeah.
from last night.
Yep.
And I had 2 pieces of bacon. I think you had 1.
I had 1 piece of
And
bacon,
it's almost 4:30, 5 o'clock.
something like that.
And we're not really hungry. You know what it is?
More.
You drink a lot of water too. And I think water keeps you kind of full.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's the one thing in the beginning, like it may take you a little, like a few weeks to kind of like get your bearings, especially if it's just you. Like I would imagine
Yeah.
it would be a little bit trickier. And also, of course, are you working outside the home? Do you need to take food with you? Then you kind of need to plan a little differently than someone who works from home, where they can have a little bit more flexibility. But for me, and my office is limited. Like I don't have like an air fryer. I got a microwave.
And you've done videos. So look at
Yeah.
some of our shorts, because she's been doing shorts on how she stays carnivore in the office. And
Yeah. So just
works
different
out well.
things that I can eat. And I've kind of learned when to time my lunch, breakfast. I don't usually eat breakfast during the work week. So I eat, after this one set meeting that I have, I eat. And then I'm hungry again when I get home. So then we'll have whatever we're having for dinner together. Because I was trying to wait till later in the day, but then I wasn't hungry in the evening. So I think part of it for me was I wasn't eating enough. There were a couple weeks there, I think, in some of our other update videos where I wasn't really losing.
that's
I was
actually
stalling,
a good point.
and I think I wasn't eating enough. And that's a hard thing sometimes, especially for women. You think, oh, it's back to that whole starvation diet. Like, you go through and you think, I just need to eat this pile of salad and then I'm going to be skinny when I wake up in the morning. As long as I starve myself today, I'll be down. And that wasn't the case. Like my weight was staying the same. Sometimes I was up.
And I was telling her, because
Yeah.
you have to eat more steak. You have
Yeah.
to eat steak. Because steak, for some reason, gets your metabolism running like crazy.
And the weird thing I've noticed, and we were just talking about this the other day, the days that I eat a lot of butter, like I take in a lot of fat, for me, the weight just falls off. Like it's crazy. Like we had some shrimp yesterday that I cooked in butter, and we had some crab legs dipped in butter. I ate all that. Like I probably had a half a stick of butter on my own. And yeah, I was down a pound this morning. It's just like, and I know you're not supposed to weigh yourself every day, but it keeps me on track. So that's what I do. But so anyways, I think you have to kind of leverage that and make your plan according to what does your everyday demand look like? Do you need to?
And it changes though.
It does. And sometimes, we like variety. So I think that's one thing like that's helped us. So we usually have several different proteins on hand that are cooked. So you can quickly throw together a meal. Like, okay, there's a half a steak in here. I'll have that, a piece of kielbasa.
That's right, singular. And a piece of salmon.
Yeah, like whatever it is.
Or a
And
chicken wing.
So I'll take three little things, and that'll be my lunch for the day. And that's good. So it's almost like having side dishes. It kind of tricks your brain into thinking you're having a typical meal when it's really just all the protein. So
That was actually good points. Yeah, no, I totally agree. But for me, if we have salmon, like if I have eggs for breakfast and like a piece of bacon or something, and then if I don't eat steak at all during the day, I don't lose
Yeah.
weight at all.
yeah, and then you get kind of lethargic a little bit.
But
Not horribly.
as long
but-
as you use a lot of butter even on, like when you cook the eggs, depending on how you cook the eggs. I mean, I like hard-boiled eggs too, where I just put salt on after I cut them up. I like hard-boiled eggs with salt, but if you make like any type of egg in a skillet, put a lot of butter in
Yeah.
there.
That's what
right?
we
You
did
got to
today.
use butter on everything
Yeah.
if you're not eating a fatty steak or fatty red meat.
Yeah.
So those are big tips right there. And we didn't know that in the beginning. In the beginning, I was tired. Oh, we did an update too, like our 37-day update, that I was really lethargic and tired and didn't realize it. And I was only at like 80% of my energy level prior to carnivore. But then on like day 32, it was somewhere, I forget.
25.
Was it 25? Okay, so then on 25, on day 25, bam, everything changed instantly for some reason. And I had all my energy back. I don't know if it was because maybe we were eating more steak or something, but it took, or maybe it was just the inflammation that something changed inside me. And then I was back to 100%. I might even have went higher than 100%. But that's why everybody says you have to do 90 days.
Yeah.
Because it took 25 days just for me to get back to 100%. And I don't sit still. I mean, I built this building. I've built all these other buildings. There's a lot to take care of and do. And for me to be at 80%, that's not good.
Yeah.
But so it took 25 days. So if you're going to be like, oh, I'm only going to do this diet for 30 days, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. It took her eyes 68 days to readjust, right? So inflammation leaves pretty quick. Like you drop a lot of weight in the beginning, which is awesome. And it kind of like makes you feel good.
Yes.
It's like, this is great. I lost all this weight. But all the really good side effects from this lifestyle doesn't happen until much later.
Yeah, it takes time.
So that's probably tip number 6, is you have to give it time. Or was that tip number 1? I don't know. We'll have to write these down and put them on in the index.
Description. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to go at least 90 days. And that's what everybody says, because it takes that long for everything to work its way through and to adjust. But back to all the food stuff, before you start, meal planning might be good too, right?
Yeah.
Because like we panicked, like, what are we going to eat for breakfast? What are we going to eat for lunch?
Yeah.
We don't even eat lunch anymore.
Well, I do. Well, on the weekends we don't.
Oh yeah, well that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. So on the weekends we'll have a nice breakfast and then we'll have dinner.
Yeah, but the nice breakfast is 2 eggs, 2 bacon, and a little piece of piece of steak.
It's not like this huge, massive breakfast.
And in the old days, we would make pancakes. She's always been a good cook, and she would make homemade pancakes from scratch.
That's why we were.
And she would make the best pancakes from scratch with peanut butter chips in them and stuff. Or not peanut butter, chocolate chips. I was like, why'd that sound weird? She'd put chocolate chips in and sometimes blueberries with real maple syrup. And then we would have like bacon, right? Because we didn't know.
And then he needed a nap.
Yes. Oh my God. And then that Saturday, I'd be so messed up all day. I'd be
and
sleeping.
And he'd ask for it every weekend. Can you make pancakes this weekend? I'm like, you're good. You have
So growing
stuff
up though, pancakes and spaghetti were my 2 go-to things.
Yeah.
Even, that's probably why I was 275 pounds at one point too, was that those were my 2 go-to.
It was the Barks root beer, I thought, and the brownies.
The Barks root beer and the brownies. Okay, and pancakes and spaghetti.
It's a long list.
Oh, but you know what though? Life is so much better.
Yeah.
And you just feel so much better. Life is good, and you eat good food. You eat good meat.
You're so satisfied.
And
so good.
Yeah, we stopped everything. Soda. We stopped everything. Alcohol. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything, and which included going out to dinner.
We really did.
Because we didn't know what to do. We were like, well, we're going to go out to dinner. We can't go out to dinner. So we quit everything for the first 30 days. We didn't go out to eat. No. We didn't go out to drink.
It's like we did. Like I went to work and then we stayed home. Like we didn't do anything.
We got a lot done around the house.
We did, but we were just like, you're unsure of yourself. You don't know what to do and what to ask for.
Yeah, how to order food.
Yeah, we were just kind of like,
we quit everything.
Let's just stay home because we can control everything here. You know?
We wanted to be under control.
Yeah.
And know that things weren't getting cooked in seed oil or anything that you shouldn't have, right? So, and I forgot to say that when we were talking about we gave up all the soda, we gave up everything, the alcohol, but, going out to eat, we didn't go out to eat a lot. Once a week, maybe twice if it was a Wednesday and we had a rough week. back in the day, right? And when we went out to eat, we would usually sit in the bar area at a high top. I love my high tops. And we would get like appetizers, and we would sit there for hours, just people watching and just relaxing. And that was a big part of our life too.
Yeah.
Like we really enjoyed, we never sit at low top regular tables and eat a dinner. I mean, when's the last time we've gone out to dinner?
Like have like a real dinner.
Right.
Yeah. No,
but
that's really
so,
odd.
you know, this is supposed to be about like giving good tips. But the tip is, you know, if you go out to eat all the time, you're going to have to rethink that. At least stop for a week or 2 weeks or 30 days like we did. That way you can learn what you can order and what you shouldn't order because of how they cook stuff too. So that's kind of where I was going with that, right? Because, you know, with Jody's story, she was 60 days in. Like, I don't think you would have thought to take hard-boiled eggs.
I would have never.
And taken steak and, you know, in a nice ice cooler and stuff like that.
My bag was filled to the brim with all kinds of food, and I had everything. I brought utensils with me. I carried my little salt shaker in my purse. I had electrolytes with me, so at the conference, I refilled my water bottle with the water they had there.
Good tip there, taking
added
electrolytes.
my electrolytes to it. And it's funny, I think there were 8 people at each table, and I think collectively the other 7 people at my table may have had like 2 bottles of water between all of them. Like no one was drinking anything. And I'm like over there sucking my water down.
Yeah,
I finished
the big
2
bottle,
of those during my conference.
32 ounces.
And I refilled it again so that I would have it in the hotel room for the evening and the overnight. And then when I get back to the conference in the morning, I filled it up again. Like I just wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated, because that's another thing too, because then you're not hydrated, you get headaches and everything else. So
that was a big thing that we didn't say either, is on the carnivore diet, we haven't had a headache.
Oh yeah, we did say that.
Which is really odd, and we didn't bring that up in the last update.
I know.
It's like you don't get headaches either.
No.
No stress-related headaches. No, well, I mean, you wouldn't be hydrated headaches anymore.
But no hormonal headaches. So typically with my cycle, I would get headaches that first day or 2, and they were pretty rough. Like where I'd have to take ibuprofen. Like you just couldn't get through the day without it. And I really tried to avoid that as much as possible, but typically that first day or so, I would need to take something just to kind of get over the hump, but not anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. We haven't had a headache in 68 days. Not that we had them.
86.
86 days. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, I would get strenuous headaches where I don't get strenuous headaches because of all the stuff that I move and do. But, it dawned on us the other day. Hey, have you had a headache? No. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
So we're learning that when you can go out to eat. I mean, absolutely. Yeah.
That same work trip, we ended up at a taco place, and I was first. That one did pose a challenge to me because, of course, the menu, it was kind of more of a specialty place, so they had all these specialty tacos, and they all sounded fantastic. But there were a lot of sauces on there that I wasn't sure of, and different things. But they had a bowl option, so you can get your taco in a bowl. So that's what I did. I got brisket. I think it was like a pulled pork carnitas or something, and bacon. I had the 3 of those. They're like, would you like this on it? Would you like that? No, just the meat in the bowl. And I asked for a small side of sour cream. So I had that. It was perfect. Hit the spot. I was satisfied. Didn't have any heartburn, indigestion, or anything else, because I looked at my counterparts eating all, and this was late. This was probably 8:30, 9 at night. And, people were drinking on top of that. And so I can imagine none of them really slept very well, because that's rough, because we had to be up pretty early in the morning for the conference. But I made it work, and you just had to get creative and just tell them exactly what you want. So, and that's always been hard for me. It's like asking for those special, like being that person when you go out to eat. Well, no, I don't want that. Can you hold that? Can I substitute this? Can I, but most of the times, like when you go out and you get a burger without the bun, that's fairly common now.
Yeah, but they still, depending upon where you go, because it's not that we go out that often anymore. We really don't go out that often.
No.
We went to our local moose that all of our neighbors are there. So we're like, hey, we got to go back. We haven't seen our neighbor. So we went there, and I went to order us food. Yeah, I'll have a hamburger with 2 slices of American cheese and bacon. Okay, and then she was like, what about ketchup, mustard, pickles? That's all I want, no bun. All I want is the burger, the cheese, and the bacon. No chips, no fries. I just want that. And,
Yeah.
she was like, okay.
Yeah.
They came out with chips on it anyways.
It did. So yeah, so sometimes little things like that.
Yeah,
will
but you
happen.
learn, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have been able to order that if we weren't like 80 days into
Yeah,
it.
because then you just don't even care anymore.
No, so yeah.
You're just like, this is what I want. And when it screws up and it comes with the chips, you're not even tempted by it.
No,
It's like,
not at
just eat
all.
that.
You really aren't.
Like, yeah.
Because all that seed oil in those potatoes that are on that chip is just horrific for you.
Yeah.
And it'll probably destroy you if you ate that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so you can't go out, but I don't know. I mean, would you recommend people not even going out to eat for 30 days until you get your bearings?
I don't know. I feel like that's what really helped us because
So learn what you like,
yeah, and
how
like,
things are cooked.
how do you like your steak? Like if you're not normally a steak eater, like we didn't really ever cook ribeyes before.
I don't think we've
Like,
ever cooked
we had
a ribeye.
some steak, but we didn't buy that. You
No,
know?
we cooked with those other types of steaks that
Yeah.
had no marbling at all.
No.
It's like you're gonna have to cut out all that fat. Let's get these ones. They're
Right.
just red meat.
Right? And now, like, because we found some of those still left in the freezers, I'll cook them and then, like, we'll each have a bowl of melted butter that we'll dip it in because it doesn't
With
have
salt
any fat.
too, right? You gotta
Yeah.
add salt to everything.
So it's just funny how things.
Drink, right? Drink mix for your electrolytes, but Redmond salt.
Yeah.
Everybody does Redmond salt. It's healthy for you. It's pure, and you have to put salt on everything just to keep your electrolytes still good. So salt, butter, those are your 2 main ingredients on everything. Maybe one last recommendation for us in the beginning, because we're like, oh, you're just going to eat steak and steak. Ugh, I don't want to eat steak all the time. So I think kind of what helped us get to where we are, that we did have like chicken, salmon, eggs, bacon, sausages. You know, we had a huge amount, but we always read the ingredients, right?
Yeah.
So we stayed away from sugar. We stayed away from soybean, anything. So in the beginning, I think that helped us too, because we didn't realize you're just going to eat steak, just steak every day. You're going to eat steak. We're just going to eat steak. Are you kidding me? So in the beginning, don't be in that mindset, right? You know, have eggs, have bacon, have kielbasa, have
Yeah.
sausages.
And I think the other part of doing it like that is that those are like the comfort, familiar foods that we're used to. So like we used to eat a lot of salmon anyway. So I cook it the same way we always have. So it's familiar, it's comfort. Chicken thighs with the bone in and the skin on, like I made those before. Like we know we like them, you know, so just different things. Sometimes I have to change the way I prepare things because I want to have, you know, maybe I don't use a breadcrumb that I used before, or, you know, whatever, certain spices, things like that.
Yeah.
But all in all, like certain things are, it's like, oh yeah, I like those, and it's just a comfort.
So I think it probably took us a good 30 days just to get to a comfort level on what we enjoyed eating with this new lifestyle. So, you know, it took me a long time to understand, as long as I get a red, fatty steak, it elevates everything about me.
Yeah.
It gives me the energy that I need, versus having a piece of kielbasa and a piece of salmon. The red fatty steak works for me.
Yeah. And I've noticed that too for myself. Like I can't go days without a steak. Like I could probably go one day, like every other day, and have that, but you kind of crave it.
You
like,
do, and your energy level, unless you're eating a lot of butter on something that's like on a chicken thigh or something, it's like red meat is key to this whole lifestyle, I do believe.
I would agree.
And you know, red steak, just a little package of card size is all you can eat. Like, you know, the whole food industry and everybody just gives red meat such a bad rap. But, you know, that's the key to life.
I think when you're starting out, people think when they hear about eating like something like a ribeye, your first thought is, how the heck am I going to afford that? Those are so expensive. Well, we're not buying bread, we're not buying fruit, we're not buying vegetables, we're not buying
Well, even that,
anything.
but the junk food is so expensive. Like a box of cereal is $8 now, and they shrink it. So like the
shrinkflation.
Yes, thank you. It's so off the charts.
Yeah.
It's like
and everything. And
yeah. So if you're not buying all the condiments and you're not buying cereal and all kinds of popcorn and all that stuff, yeah, you could. And if you do get a big ribeye, like one ribeye would be good for us for a night, and then we might have a little piece left. And I'm a big guy. I'm still 209, 210, and a little piece of steak with some eggs is all I need, and I'm full all day.
Yeah.
Right. So, you could share a steak, right? I mean,
we do that a lot. Like we might make 2 steaks, but we'll only eat one, and we'll split it. And then we know we have that extra steak, so he can have some for breakfast. I'll take some for my lunch.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
Like last night, you made like 20 shrimp. We had
food.
We had some crab legs.
Yeah.
And then there was something else that you made on top of the 20 shrimp, wasn't there?
It
was the fish.
Oh yeah.
It was a little small piece of cod, right? There were 2 little small pieces of cod, like 20 shrimp and some crab legs. So we ate the crab legs, and I think I was only able to eat 2-3 shrimp and a half of fish. It's like as you progress on to this lifestyle, your appetite is so small and your body processes everything so efficiently.
Yeah, I couldn't even eat anything after the crab legs. Like I cooked the other stuff because we had it defrosted and it was ready to go, but I couldn't eat it. Like I was full after that.
So it's not
crazy.
that. So the whole point of us telling you this is that it's not that expensive.
No.
Right? I mean, because you don't eat that much food once you get into it. Once you're 5 days, 10 days into it, your appetite plummets.
Yes.
And you don't eat that much food. And what you do eat, you process it so well that you're only going to the bathroom, number 2.
You're very fixated on this bathroom thing.
Well, because the standard American diet, people go 2-3 times a day.
I
2
know.
twice a day.
Oh, I know.
I used to go twice a day, every day, twice a day. And
it's kind of crazy.
It
if
is.
You think about it. So you're eating all this stuff that your body can't even use. So it's a waste. Everything you're taking in is going back out. It's like when you used to take me to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Took her there once. Because she was never, anyway. You were never there. We went once, and
it was not.
And this was way before. This was like
28 years ago. No, just kidding.
If they didn't watch that video, they're not going to know why that was funny. But anyway, so I think that about wraps it up. I mean, we would strongly encourage everyone to start this as a lifestyle, not as a diet.
Yeah.
It's not something, any diet, right? I think any diet you cannot treat as a diet because as a set start and a set end. Yes. I'm going to do this for 30 days and I'm going to go back to the way I was. Right. You can't do that. Once you learn something, you can't forget it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. This is a lifestyle, and that food pyramid, like what we were saying, needs to be flipped upside down, and you should be eating 90% protein at least. If you want a piece of bread, eat a piece of bread. It's not going to kill you. It might. You never know. But, protein. It's like that's what we're going to do forever. It's just who we are now, is that you're going to eat protein, a lot of it.
And after you're in it for so long, like we're almost to 90 days, like we feel so good. The idea of going back, like no matter how much I love pizza or fill in the blank,
I love
right?
Pizza.
Like we
spaghetti,
love pizza,
pancakes.
Like, I just, but it's not worth it to me. Like I feel so good now that it's like, why ruin a good thing? It's like we're in a good place right now, and I'm very satisfied with our food intake and what we're eating, and I don't want to mess that up for one meal to have pizza. Really? Why? And we'll, and that's something that's our decision. Some people who maybe follow this lifestyle and have done it for years are like, you know what, once a month I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat whatever I want, and then it is what it is. But
I could see that too, actually.
I'm just afraid that, because I know how I've been in the past, everything's a slippery slope for me. So
But luckily, you know, we're doing this together.
Yes, so we can rein each other in. So if someone...
And we haven't had any issues.
No. He's been good.
So, I mean, yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end here. So strongly encourage everybody to try this and stick with it.
It's life-changing.
It is very life-changing. You have to do it. You have to kind of go in, plan everything out like what we were saying, and you got to go at least 90 days. I mean, if you do 30 days, that's great. You'll drop a lot of weight. But if you just treat it as a diet, I did it for 30 days, I'm out, I'm going to go get my pizza now, you're going to gain it all back. And you're going to get the inflammation back. You're going to get tired again. You're going to get your swelling back. You're going to start snoring again. I mean, we've watched a lot of videos where everything comes back as soon as you start eating the standard American diet of just crap food.
Yeah.
So we have no intentions of ever stopping.
No, we feel too good. It's not worth it. And we love steak. We love this way of eating. Like, we're so happy with it that I can't imagine eating another way.
No, or another diet. Like all those diets that we tried, it had a start and a stop, right? Because you stopped because you weren't losing weight or you gained weight and you're eating a salad. You're like, because you're so inflamed. Anyway, let's not rehash that. I think we're good. I think, you know, drop us a comment. If you have any questions or want to know anything else, you know, drop us some comments. We'll love to talk with you.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're wishing you all the success and we really hope you start this new lifestyle. Yeah,
that's awesome. So thanks so much for watching.
Hey,
Say bye to Lloyd.
Yeah. Also, hey, if you could do a thumbs up, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you subscribe, because we're going to be cooking in our little cookhouse here. We're going to be doing all kinds of carnivore food, hints and tips and tricks and all that stuff in here too throughout the winter. So look forward to those videos. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching.
All right, thanks for joining everyone. Today we are in our shed bar, AKA where we're gonna do a lot of video to prep food. So we'll be at this table here with our friend Lloyd there, prepping all of our food. And then out this window here is where our lean-to is. And you know, that's where we do all of our barbecuing, all of our cooking outdoors. So this room is going to be kind of a hangout room. So right now though, we just have as you can see, the plywood on the sides. We're still debating on wall coverings. We're thinking we're going to do board and batten on the bottom and some kind of rusted corrugated steel around the top on the sides. It's kind of where we're headed right now. And there's Jody, she's waiting for me to stop talking, but come on in. So I just put in the wood stove, so we'll have some heat in the winter. Hey Jody, welcome.
Thank you.
I was just giving everybody an overview. Oh, it is a tour. And then there's our chandelier up there. We still have some wine bottles to try to collect to put into our chandelier. And then back here are our fancy lights that we kind of like. And then what we're gonna do on this back wall, ignore the scary monster. Like I said, we're getting ready for Halloween party. So on this back wall, we're gonna put those bricks, the half bricks, so the thin bricks. So we have all these bricks we're gonna do on the back wall, and then on the side,